Welcome to Humanity Unboxed. On this, it's a weird day. It's a Monday. It's a weird day.
Everything is weird right now. Right now, everything is
It's
weird.
weird, yeah.
Yeah, because we're
Um,
waking up. It wouldn't be weird if it were just systemically weird, but
yeah,
but because we're waking up, it's just something, and the Earth is changing, and the Earth doesn't take that anymore. You know, the abuse and everything,
mm,
and all that stuff. And we are collective consciousness. We all don't want to take it anymore. So
yeah,
that's why I think that's
yeah,
why. Yeah.
yeah. And there's a lot of stuff going on, isn't there? Especially in the collective conscious, unconscious,
Yeah, yeah.
collective,
No,
yeah,
everywhere, every in
everywhere.
all beings is a lot going on, and the
Mm,
effects, of course, secondary the systems.
yeah,
Actually, the beings are the ones that shifting the earth, the nature, everything, the universe, the aliens, all that stuff that shifts,
yeah,
and the symptom is the systems, and they freak out because they can't play that anymore. They can't game us anymore. So people become
yeah,
aware, and so they try. Right now it's obvious that they do this. They say it even, and we just accept it still.
mm,
So you know,
yeah,
just comes in. I don't know what I'm saying,
yeah.
but
What,
you
what,
said something about creation, and that's
yeah.
what
Well,
actually.
yes. So we are we're in this last month in our season of Alchemy of Trust. So I've divided it into three
Yeah.
parts of
Mm-hmm.
trust, really. First, we looked
Mm-hmm.
at the magic of trust, what
Yeah.
really is. Then last month we kind of looked at creativity because I think there's a lot of trust in creativity, trusting your
Mm-hmm.
creativity, trusting, you as a channel of creative
Mm-hmm.
expression, all of that. Now, this month it's about adding value. And I always
Mm-hmm.
kind of ease into this a little bit because, um, yeah, it feels like it's almost a measurement, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
What is value? We are we are of value just by
Naturally, by born existing, we
yeah.
wouldn't be of value. See, that's the big question. Where people say, "Oh, you're not so systemic value, but you exist, and when you exist, you have value because
Mm,
the creative energy of all, let's say God or whatever you want,
mm,
doesn't make something that has no purpose or no, uh,
value.
yeah, value. You can feel like you're worthless, like you feel like you can lonely, but you never be lonely and never be worthless because
So,
because
yeah,
you exist. You
yeah.
exist, and I mean, even if you feel and I feel, think we always have an interconnection.
Mm,
When I think about you, about something on Instagram, I see something. I just saw something on addiction, which
yeah,
was very interesting. I
yeah.
see something, and it's just, oh, that's a good thing. So I'm always connected with you. I'm not sending you something about uh, collecting puppets.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
send that to you. I send you, I
yeah,
feel that out,
yeah,
but I can, because I know you like animals, I can send you about animals.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we are always connected, interconnected. And what I think is so, is the you feel lonely, you feel, it's not right to do or whatever. That's a feeling, that not the
Mm,
fact. The fact is we are not alone. We can never be alone because
mm,
once we exist, we exist.
yeah.
You can imagine you are so loved by the universe that you can be, alone, being in a collapsed cave, and you have the feeling and emotion of being alone because you want to explore that, but
Mm,
you'll never be alone. You'll never be alone. And usually, what a lot of other metaphysics says is alone is disconnecting from soul. So where you actually deny your soul, you deny it because you cannot get rid of it either. So
mm,
yeah,
yeah.
so that's and what I think with creating value is because we have that, we are born with that strength of being interconnected and existing.
Mm,
Therefore, there must be another, Bashar says this in a good thing, there must be another side of the coin.
mm,
You're Michelle, the head, Michael, the head. There must be, even though you and I cannot be, are not in a relationship I mean, we are in a relationship. That's what's so funny. We are in a relationship. Let's say but you want a family and all. So there is another side of the coin that is that you serve, you can serve, and you can be a
Yeah.
part of or collaborate. And I think value is the value is we all matter. There's never question your mattering,
Mm.
because system can find out where you can matter doesn't mean that you don't matter. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because other people at a tribe says no, you don't matter,
Yeah.
doesn't mean you don't matter, because you exist, therefore you matter, and
Yeah.
everybody wants to matter, right? So
Yeah.
so they're saying, I work more than you. Even in the systemic, where they sell themselves, their soul out, they say, "Oh, you're not busy. I'm working so much." So
Mm.
the mattering goes in even in the systemic stuff, in the artificial stuff that we made up in our mind,
Mm.
and says, I'm a better worker, I'm a better thing, I'm an expert, you're not. It's
Mm.
all about how much you accept your mattering, because
Yeah.
you and I, we just matter. We know that, and because we have thought about that and processed that and be aware, because we exist, we matter. We must matter. Doesn't
Mm.
matter if we die tomorrow or not. We
Yeah.
must matter. You know.
And I think the word value, because you've now substituted
Yeah.
with matter, which is cool. Um, but for us, I see it in a lot of spaces that people remove themselves from spaces because they want to add value. So they know they matter, but they don't feel that they are adding value. Where I feel that by being, you
Yeah.
add value.
Being
By
yourself. We
by
we know
being
that.
yourself, by being able to trust the fact that you can be yourself,
Yeah.
you create like a grounding,
Yeah.
for others, which creates a space for them to be more themselves, which is
Yeah.
valuable in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as a leader or anything, what do you experience? Experiences, when I look at this, I said, "Oh my God, she's unbelievable. She does that. I wish I could do that." So
Yeah.
the most influence actually that you matter and that you have value to humanity or systems is when you are exemplary. When you're exemplary, when you're you, when you're 100% you, when I don't have to say, no, Michelle is just that. She's just doing a role as being the mistress or being the empress or whatever.
Yeah.
No, if I know everything that comes out of you is you, that is always engaging, because I don't know what your next step is.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you promise to be 100% you, that doesn't make you linear. That makes you one time reacting what you always did, and then look at our stuff. We often shift the podcast 2 or 3 times. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. It does,
Yeah.
but none of us is upset,
No.
because it is not it's just yeah. And so that's a true relationship where you don't say, "Oh my God," but you said, and you whatever. I want to matter. I want to be out on the podcast. I don't want to be out. I am what I am.
Yeah. Yeah. And yet we've assigned measurements to value. That's what keeps us from being comfortable within
Huh?
that space of just being
Mm-hmm.
self and going, I don't really know what to talk about, or or this, or I agree, or I disagree, or you know, I've been finding this quite a bit. I might shift it now, I don't know, but I've been finding it quite a lot in how we um, stop the exchange of ideas once we start agreeing with each other. Maybe it's just in my head, but
Say that. Say that.
when we start agreeing with each other all the time, we inhibit our own growth in a way for me because I kind of give in to a singular thought, train of thought, or like when I run dialogue sessions, I often see if there are only a few people in the room and we are very kind of kindred spirits and we see things very similarly, we don't get to push the boundaries because we agree. Does that make sense?
Yes, but that has the, my God, there's this stuff which comes in. So, but that has a lot of issues here. So, you might be a person that doesn't want a conflict. You might be the tribal, we are herd animal. The herd is more important than the individual. So all that. So we want to amplify the herd. We want to amplify the conflict is not something that you want. It's just a perspective that looks different. So you say, I see animals like beings, and I say, no, I don't see them as bad. I see them as things. So my perspective of animals would be different. Then we
Yeah, but
could have
that's
a
not conflict.
discourse.
If
But no,
conflict would happen if I say, no, Michael, you're wrong.
yeah,
Not to
because
disagree with you.
you
I'm
judge
saying you're
me.
wrong
You
because
judge my one of oneness that I'm
yeah,
wrong.
yeah,
I cannot be. Nobody is wrong. It's like
yeah,
they are here to represent what they are born from,
yeah,
right? And I
yeah,
think the difference between value is on a really frequency is the value is that what you sense in your soul that you want to represent here on earth in this realm,
mm,
and that you are mattering is it's just whatever you matter. You matter because you exist. You don't
yeah,
know perhaps that you have that, and that that you should open that door at that moment for that in that problem. But you matter. You must know you matter, because from creativity, when you don't know, when you question yourself, you go against creativity. You must know you matter,
mm,
and then you feel the essence, the core of you. You're the one of oneness,
yeah,
and you said, I want to contribute my one of oneness.
mm,
And that, I think, that is the value that you say, do I have value? What is if you never find out your value? When you just exist and know you matter. See,
yeah,
you can never
yeah,
find the value when you don't are in peace and balance, that my existence says I matter.
mm,
But do you need to know why you matter? Of course, we all want to know. But do you need to know why you matter? See, you got to be in peace with what that you might never find out. I did all
yeah,
these things. I don't know if I met, I
yeah,
tried all this different because I wanted to have value and I want to have matter.
mm,
But the moment I made peace of that I matter because I exist,
mm,
I can be really creative. I can be really things and express myself. And perhaps it's just for me to see the value and not for others.
yeah,
Also, that's the artist thing. I have this magical experience creating this,
yeah,
singing, painting, whatever. Yeah.
yeah,
And then nobody likes it. See, so I assume this has no value,
mm.
but it might have much more value than if people would like it. Would
Yeah.
have
So what
universal
would give
value.
it value though? Well, would it have value in that you found your expression, you found a doorway to a different part of yourself. So that gives it value, but only in your eyes because it is part
Yeah,
of your
it's
process.
101.
Yeah.
Everybody. So I cannot say you have value. I mean, I know you have value because you exist, but
Yeah.
I don't know what specifically what you're looking for when it comes to value. When you talk about value, what are you looking for? What you're looking for. And I think it's very frustrating when you can't see where your value is, when you're totally, in just have a job and going to work and all that stuff. How
Mm.
that is in terms of value.
Yeah.
You know,
Because you want to feel it as well. It's one thing to say, okay, I have value, and I see most aspects of value as connection points to others, Um,
a
but, you know,
collaborative creative species. We are
yeah,
collaborative creative species. Yeah.
yeah. And I see flies. I struggle with the value in flies because they are back. Summer in England brings flies.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so where was I going now? Um, yeah, it's easy to see the value in your presence when you light, when the cat's happy to see you, or your children's
Yeah.
happy to see you when you come and pick them up, or, you know, uh, the bread
I,
came out well, and it tastes good, and
yeah,
suddenly, you
I think that confirms you matter.
yeah,
That is not that. I think the value is more. It's more leaning to the systemic. For the whole humanity, for the system, for the you know. I said, okay, I matter. What does that mean? You matter. So you have value. You have to. I think that's the function of life, is to figure out what is your uniqueness. You're mattering as the uniqueness nature made you. I
yeah,
think that's life. That's like the whole. Like when you were 15, you didn't know your value at all. I
yeah,
didn't know. When I was 20, I was dumb as a wall. I just ran against the wall. I ran
yeah,
against the wall all the time because I had no awareness of anything. I was always liking to help children and be nice, but I didn't see that as a value. Everybody does that, or many people help people, because
yeah,
that's in our inherent collaborative creator species. We do it
yeah,
together, you know.
yeah.
I don't create New York. There's many people that create New York, you know,
Mm.
or the Golden Gate Bridge, There's
Yeah.
not. I don't create that, but many people create that.
Yeah.
So,
So
so
yeah, so value is more of an external,
I,
it comes from an external perspective more than
yeah,
mattering for that
yeah.
matter.
Yeah, yeah,
To
and
matter
also,
you.
and where it interlinks is chopping wood and carrying water.
Yeah,
That's where it interlinks.
yeah,
Your value is perhaps just chopping wood and carry water. That's
yeah,
that's your value, right? You might be a painter that does that and paint for yourself, but your real value is actually just here to carry, chopping wood and carry water. It's just. I don't think it's linguistically a very limited stuff. We are very, because our
yeah,
thinking, our awareness, our unboxing, right,
yeah.
shows me we don't have the right words for what we want to express.
Well, wouldn't it be nice if we didn't need words, if we could,
I know.
yeah,
They
no, we've
distract us.
spoken
The
about
words,
this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because value
Um,
is such a dirty word, like love. It's like, you
yeah,
have no value. What is
yeah,
value? That I make $50 million in 2 days in a corner office in New York? Is that value?
yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
is value in some way. It's value in some way, but a mother that takes care of children, can you even compare that?
No, there's a lot more value in that. I was listening to an interesting, I don't know, it was on a Trevor Noah podcast, and I don't know who the guy is, American guy, who was talking about quality time and how it's such a silly, it's something that executives and people with limited time use because the quality of our time together is in the mundane bits, it's in the
Yeah,
we carry water, it's in the um, non-rehearsed kind of space
yeah.
where conversation can just happen, So
Hmm.
if we could spend time together where we didn't feel we had to perform or,
We
um,
do it here.
yeah,
We
yeah,
don't. I don't feel.
yeah,
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 it doesn't,
exactly.
because I
But
want to
just
be
by being,
exemplary that it's possible, right?
yes,
You and
but
I
now we spark ideas in each other, so that brings value in that we've created something that is
together.
external to us,
Yeah,
but it couldn't happen without us. I
exactly,
can't have this conversation on my own, and
exactly.
you know,
And
yeah,
you know how I work. I plug in the mastermind and it just comes to me. And if you're not there, something else comes in, but not in that context. In that
yeah,
context, when I plug into you,
yeah,
it just runs in. I can hardly hold it, That's why I
yeah,
over speak sometimes,
yeah,
or I speak too fast because it's just raining in and I'm so afraid of losing it. I want to capture it while it comes.
yeah,
Creativity is something like that comes, and if you don't catch it, somebody else catches it. If you
yeah,
think you have a great thing for a painting, and it's just okay, in 2 weeks you don't remember what the idea was. So
yeah,
you have to go right away or speak it in the way or something.
mm,
That's how it is. That's the opposite of where we say we need to slow down, But when the stuff comes in, you better speed up because you know.
Yeah, if you are in the right space to take it, I mean, they are,
Yeah,
you could also let it go, and it would find a different kind of
yeah.
expression.
It always comes out, and
Yeah.
I think the wonderful thing of creating is where you say, "Oh, I created the book or whatever." I don't feel like that because I did the 3,000 paintings too. I don't feel like I did that. I think I channeled it, and because I channeled it has a certain, perhaps that's the value,
Mm.
because I channeled the 3,000 painting and the books and all that stuff. And I don't see myself as a channeler, so I don't, nothing comes through me through, in the thing. But so I did that, and the feedback, what we always say, art creation gives you the best feedback because you see, and then when you live with the art that you created, then the end has something to do with it because you always see something that you didn't see before. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in generally, the in and out of painting and changing out of paint, that process gives you feedback of your one of oneness. It doesn't give you feedback of any human. It gives you feedback of you, because when you paint your anger, that looks with everybody different, or jealousy or love. You paint love or sing love or thing. You express that. That's for everybody different.
Yeah.
And I think that you're and it also brings you back. You are God. You are part of God, because it goes to a point that says, I see me in that
Yeah.
creation. So you channel like I said, the big creation, a chair,
Yeah.
and then you make the chair in your voice,
Yeah.
right? That shows you that you're part of where
The,
everybody grows. God
yeah.
grows, you grow. Everybody grows
Yeah.
from your interpretation. That's why a human being meeting a human being is the highest thing. If there is an asshole, if they're mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It's the biggest gain that I shift to, because every human I appreciate, because that's the biggest growth that you can have.
Yeah.
Even if they're mean or not. Or good or bad or right or wrong. I'm not
Yeah.
saying I condone hanging out with them. I'm
Mm.
not condoning that.
Mm.
But every that shows up in my life, I talk
So they
yesterday.
even in the negative, they add value in that they create
Absolutely,
a
yeah,
reflection
because
process
they're a
within you.
reflection. They're
Yeah.
a reflection. Why
Yeah.
would you always have people that honk at you when you drive?
Yeah.
And it's always everybody, not just one. Everybody honks at you. Everybody hits you in the back of the car. Why would you want to do this?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. You'll
they
change
show
your
you
behavior
something
again.
that,
Maybe I
and
should
they are
fix
not,
this.
and there's a value again. See, I loop that right in here.
Yeah.
The person that hits your car in the back all the time, like different people, their value is to make you conscious.
Yeah.
Their value is to be pissed. And then you go psychiatrist. Let's say you don't do anything about being pissed, yeah,
Mm.
and feeling like a victim. Then you get angry, and then you go
Yes.
to a psychiatrist that can't handle my anger. You lash out at your husband, at your kids. So all that feedback, it's
Yeah.
amazing, huh?
Yeah. Which you could, yeah. Um,
I love
you can
unboxing. I
end it.
love
You can
unboxing.
you can kind of, stop it from going to the psychiatrist part by going, hang on a minute, why am I angry? Oh, the guy
Exactly.
decided to do it.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but some people that are unaware go
Yeah.
to a psychiatrist or go to
Yeah.
a doctor or talk to
Yeah.
a friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
This was a very good. Wow, we didn't know what we were talking about. See, I want to always say that people say that was not constructed or anything. When you trust your flow, it
Yeah.
just comes,
Yeah.
right?
And yeah, there goes the value though, isn't it? If you can trust in the possibility of failure as well, because
Exactly.
what if nothing comes? But if I
Yeah.
focus on the thing that, what do I need to do? How do I do it? All of
Yeah.
these things, then you get so absorbed by it that there's no flow of creativity, I suppose, or you know, whatever the
But
expression
it comes with the
needs to be.
relaxedness. Our talks get better because we are relaxed, and also neurodiverse. You know, they're
Mm.
always stressed and everything. And then you have a opposite that is also relaxed, and is also not putting you in a strain. Yeah, we have to get that done. And Michael likes this and likes. No, I don't
Yeah,
think Michelle likes this or that or whatever. I just am,
yeah,
and I think that allows much more flow through.
mm, yeah,
Yeah, and when you have the flow coming through, then all you have to do catch it. It's catch it
yeah,
and say no, and then feel it. It's saying, oh, it's to the right a little bit, to the left. It has a different color, different
mm,
voice, different height. You know, I do this octave deeper, and then and make it yours. That's
yeah,
so important. Be the one of one. That's the key to everything. Be
yeah.
who you are in everything you do. Then you
Yeah,
have
you
fun. You
can't
have
do
more
that in your
energy
head
in
though.
everything.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. You have to be in your body to be able to
Yeah,
do that. Because if you
yeah.
live in your head, then you
But everybody lives in their
want to
head.
create. Yeah, but there has to be a connection point, a balance, you know,
Yeah,
a grounding. Hang on a minute. If I think too much about other things, then I can't have a conversation with you and we can't, create a new idea or not or whatever because I'm not present. I'm in my
yeah.
head. Yeah.
As above, so below. So we
Yeah.
have to
As
get
within, so out.
you have to
Yeah.
get in the balance,
Yeah.
right? And you bring the stuff. So we channel basically. We all channel our
Mm.
higher selves, our non-physical self,
Mm.
and the balance of this, because the non-physical cannot be physical. That's why we are physical and the non-physical part. We are
Yeah.
part, right?
Yeah.
So when we allow that through, then the interaction
Mm.
that creates a balance. So when you say toss the coins, read the cards, all that,
Yeah.
the what's it called? The what you the permission slips, right?
Oh, yes.
So
Yeah.
when you use the permission slips to create that
Yeah.
balance between your unseen self for your good night and
Yeah.
the seen self, then that helps a lot.
Yeah. And it creates a space for expression.
Yeah,
'Cause that's where the value lies, isn't it?
yeah,
If I can let out what's within,
yeah. Then my
then
one of
I
one is
see it. Yeah.
soul and me. Yeah, my one of one is can express itself in an individual way than
Yeah.
than the whole,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
in the individual way of the perspection and difference judgment, basically, where we judge that, is it not to judge to put him down, but we judge it saying, okay, she does it like that, he does it like that, I do it like that. So what would be the best, the most valuable for? It's a mixture of five things,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then said, what would the best thing for me? It's always for me, not for everybody. That always thinking for everybody is just destroying the individuality,
Yeah.
the source of finding out something. Because in the individuality, we find new ways, new whatever is new,
Mm. Mm.
different ways,
Mm.
uh, it's still, fax is outdated, but still people use fax. They use,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's another one. We put a layer on top of that, and we put a layer out. We're not saying get rid of all fax and now it's only email.
Yeah. Yeah. Do people still use fax?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, that's
Government.
the thing. Yeah, it's interesting when we start looking at the bigger picture and looking at,
Yeah.
technology, for example, where was
Hmm.
it and where is it going to, and where are
Yeah.
we,
Yeah.
finding our
Hmm.
um react no our
Hmm.
space,
Yeah.
yeah, in the world, and that would show more of the value instead of
Of
going,
course. Yeah.
I need
I
to,
need to go to New York because there you can make money. No, you
yeah,
don't have to go to New York. You can make money everywhere,
yeah,
wherever,
yeah, 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 yeah. or I
This
don't have
judgment,
to have
this
someone.
generalization. In New York, you can make a lot of money. Yeah, but you can be poor too. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
life is good. Life is good.
Yes, you keep
Just look
saying
at it. No, I say, just look at the
yeah.
different perspective. If everything goes black, where's the good stuff? Yeah,
Mm. Yeah, there's always good stuff, isn't there?
always good stuff.
Mm.
Nobody can say this. All the possibility is negative, all the possibility positive.
Yeah,
Always, we always have all possibilities. The future nobody can say, and the past is done. It's
yeah.
we can
Doesn't
recreate
exist.
it. We can
Yeah,
recreate the past. Yeah.
yeah. But then we can, yeah, no man or what's the quote? I can never get it right. Something about not the man or the river will ever be the same because, yeah,
No same.
no
No
man
river will
next
be.
to a
Yeah,
river will ever be the
yeah,
same because neither the river nor the man is the same.
yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah.
we can
Because
never
we
go
change
back.
in. We are not the same as we started in
No,
this podcast. We're
no,
totally different. We
yeah,
probably changed ourselves 15,000 million times. They say,
yeah,
in a second
yeah.
you change so that we have a continuity flow. That we have flow.
Mm,
Yeah.
yes.
I like the metaphor from, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Um,
Thank you.
it is a words. They make it
Words is very, very
complicated than
important, huh?
others. Yeah, yeah,
We should make a thing on words, perhaps
yeah.
one time.
Yes, maybe next
Yeah.
week in value.
Yeah.
How can we move away from words and still have valuable engagement?
Interactions. Yeah.
Yeah,
Connection,
yeah.
communication. Yeah.
Yeah.
That